Yes, guys, welcome to Bala Sport TV. How you guys doing? George,
We are
Kosi,
back.
what's going on, brothers?
We're here, man.
And not much we hear.
The premise started again.
Yeah.
Match day reaction, 2026-27 Premier League season has started.
It is
And
here.
we're here.
We
Arsenal
back.
fans, Manchester United fans, Chelsea fans, Liverpool, City. It's hard to find a City fan that's real City fan because I got the feeling they might disappear once they start losing. So,
I had the same feeling too.
man, but it's that time of the year, man, with sports. La Liga started. Real Madrid look a little bit shaky, but they've pulled it off. I know George think Marina is not the right choice, so
Hey,
today
I'm
they
just
almost went
saying
the other
that.
way.
Yeah, they pulled that win out of the bag somewhere.
So we
Mourinho?
see what all City did to your Manchester United, but we're gonna start with Arsenal, man, because Kosi, man, your defending champs, man. Arsenal made a statement opening their title defense, a comfortable win 3-0 against new Premier League team. Premier League teams, not you, but you know what I mean. Coventry
Yes, sir.
3-0. Kai Havertz opened up the 2026 Premier League goal scoring a soccer. You can't get any easier than that. And the rest was history, man. Is Arsenal still the title favorite? I would say yes because they're defending champs. But, Kosi, man, take me through your Arsenal Football Club, man. What was more impressive to you about this one? Keeping it simple because,
Yeah. Solis, he's looking like a live wire replacing Trossard off the left. Martinelli's look like he's a little phased out of the team right now because that left wing looked like we got a bargain signing, and that's the talk of the team right now is Solis creating chances off the left. It made it look pretty easy for Arsenal yesterday from what I was able to capture. And, Saka's not going to get a much easier chance. I believe the defense played well in the midfield. Lewis Skelly is looking very, very good, and he has a space in that starting midfield position if he's not going to come in and slide in that left back. So they're looking um to keep their little form going into this start of the new season. It was a newly promoted Coventry, so we'll take the 3 points and take it one game at a time, I should say. But it was a good win, good way to start. And the new signing looks very good in Solis, the Greek.
George, Arsenal make it look easy. Of course, we know who they're playing against. New Premier League team. Like Kosi just says, as our title finally built the squad to retain the title. You see them winning it back to back, and how would you think about the new Arsenal squad?
I think this was the most professional and make it look easy win that Arsenal has had in a long time. There was no point in the game did they feel threatened by anything that Coventry was doing. They showed a lot of continuity in what they are doing, and Arteta being, if you look at the top 6 clubs, Arsenal is the only team that had the continuity. So I am giving that they got over the hump last year, won the EPL. Now they understand and they know how to win games without even putting in much effort. And this was one of them. They didn't really go over the top to win. It was just professional 3-0 win against Coventry. And one of the things that they did was they showed the maturity in their team right now.
You there?
And they found a way, even for Lewis Kelly to fit in perfectly in the middle. That gave Arteta something new to look at. Last year, experimenting him on the left back position, I think that will give Arsenal something to move forward with, and it gives them also another option to consider in the middle. But overall, I think this was a professional 3-0 win, as somebody would say, professional ass whooping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think this is a very professional. They send a message
Yeah.
that if you want the title, you got to come through us, and how to control the game and title celebration or whatnot. They come out here, just play. I love the way they was moving the ball, and you guys mentioned Lewis Kelly fitting right in the middle. For me, that give Oliver more freedom to be the creative player that he is, and to see how he could go in the box and finish off the game with a third goal. I think Arsenal could have scored more goal, but they did exactly what needed to be done. And they, as a Chelsea fan, man, I hate to admit it, man,
They look scary.
they look scary,
I
bro.
wouldn't lie. They look very, very scary.
I gotta tip my hat to Odegaard also, because last year he got a little bit of stick even from me. He did have some injuries in form. In the World Cup, he showed his skill set again, and he's hitting the ground running right now. So he's looking like the Odegaard that's ready and willing. And having a player like Skelly come in like that, it gives him freedom. He looks very spry. He looks very free. It's good to see him like that. So yeah, it makes the team look very scary with it. And then getting another defensive signing like Konsa, that will help our.
Yeah, because I think that the World Cup helped him out. That's really
Yeah.
everybody talking about they play a lot of games, but I feel like some of these players, especially you mentioned, are coming from injury and playing the way he played with Haaland. Though I think it really helped him, and that Arsenal know what they're doing. And with that being said, man, is this Arsenal team better than last season?
No, I wouldn't say they are, because last season they had a team that got over the hump, right? This looks like a more experienced, and we have done it before team, so they understand what is needed of them. As compared to last season, they were trying to get over the hump and trying to get one past Man City, which they finally did. But last season team, they went all the way they won the EPL, got to the Champions League final. So until this team does or repeat and win the Champions League, I wouldn't say they are better than last season.
Last year, yeah.
I think the continuity that they have is going to propel them to better things this year. And I won't take anything past them. I think my only worry is, will they be able to stay fit throughout the year? Which
Are we being carried away because of who they play against? Can they do the same thing against City, Chelsea, Liverpool, or Manchester United? What you think, Kosi?
I mean, the Community Shield, not that it's a glorified kind of. That was it was it's the first test, so that was a good display. So I'm gonna use that as a placeholder for now, saying that that's our first test. If Pep Guardiola was there, he would want to win that. So it's like I'm seeing it in Arteta now. He's gonna try to get everything he can get, because Pep Guardiola that's his real kind of guy that he looks to emulate. So I believe that they can do it. And as George said, last year you're trying to keep your place, but now you've done it already. That can give you sort of complex. Whereas in versus saying you're gonna beat this team and that team, let's see how they perform in each game, because everybody else is getting better now. So, next opponent, we're gonna take it as we go. And I believe that the team is very strong. They have some points that they can clear up still. As much signings as we got, as much they still want to add some firepower, some certainty in goal scoring. I believe from the striker position. I've heard names. Alvarez is not moving from Atletico. I've heard Osimhen, you're gonna have to pay him a lot of money that they don't want to pay. So, when it gets tough again, can the team be bolstered to score if the striker is not scoring? You did it once. Now is a tough time again. So I believe they can go as far as their attitude will take them.
yeah, just to add to, I think one of the things that is going to work in Arsenal favor this year is they are the only team that has continuity, as compared to Man City, Man United, Liverpool, Chelsea. Alonso came in at Chelsea. He's going to try to experiment and try to make his system work, and there will be growing pains for Chelsea. Man City, there will be growing pains. Liverpool, there will be growing pain. Man United already suffered a loss, right? So Arsenal having that continuity in terms of player structure, in terms of their players and the coach is going to help them. But given that they are also the champions will mean that they are going to get everybody's A game. That will be where they have to, if they can keep the guys fit throughout the year, I think they will have everything it takes to win. And because I think that because of the growing pains of the top 6 teams, they are going to lose points here and there as compared to Arsenal that has the continuity. So if they put their foot on the gas and say, hey, we are going to win it, I think this might be the easiest winning Premier League compared to last.
Gotcha. Based on everybody else that's trying to figure things out, and Arsenal did the thing, man. This is what you do. You're better team. You control the team. I mean, you control the game, and you come up with a 3-point. Not just it wasn't by luck. They dominated and they control it.
Yeah.
They showed they were the better team.
Yeah.
And there's no way for me, if it's Arsenal fan, man, this is like the parade, man. It's good to celebrate how your team just come out and do what they did. Especially you mentioned the coach against City in the Community Shield. They made it look easy, and they made it look easy in the first game of the Premier League. Now we move on to the other team. Hull City beat Manchester United 2-0. Manchester United didn't score a single goal in the opener. Good for them. You losing your open game at Hull City. Okay, first of all, let's give Hull City a lot of credit. There's no
Wow.
doubt. They show up. They had a game plan,
They showed up.
and they succeed. And they come
showed
out
up
with
with
3 points.
identity.
So it's not that bad, as Manchester City fan will tell. I mean, Man City fan will tell me earlier. It's just the first game. But George, are you concerned? There's any worry in you watching the Manchester United game today?
Is it time to overreact? Probably not. But was it concerning watching them play? Yes. The reason why it was concerning is Man United doesn't have the luxury of losing games like that, especially if you want to chase Arsenal, right? With the ease with which Arsenal won yesterday, I was expecting that to motivate the Man United team to go all out because you want to match the champions in terms of their wins. And I always say that winning the Premier League, and I learned this from Pep Guardiola and Klopp when they were competing going head to head. You have to beat the other 14 teams. You have to make sure you are getting the maximum points from the other 14 teams. The top 6, anything can happen. So that you don't even bank on that. But the other 14 teams, you have to do everything possible to get the points from them if you want to win the league. And we couldn't even create anything against Hull City. For the first time, I watched Manchester United and I go, oh, these guys didn't want to be here.
Come
But
on, dude.
again,
Where you been, man? Where you been the past 10 years, man?
No, that they showed a fight after going down 2-0. But this game there was nothing. They couldn't they didn't even try to break Hull City defense down. So that is the concerning part, but as I said, it's the first game of the season, so there is no need to overreact, but there's also some concerning part of the game, and you're going to wonder if some of the players are going to be ready to go through the other 37 games in the Premier League, plus the League Cups, plus the Champions League. Will they be ready? Will they be able to fight through it this season? Or Man United need to sign new players? But if this morning's game was nothing to write home about. It was basically they just chose not to show up. But then we still have 37 games to judge them.
Kosi, you say you got a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Talk to me.
because they whooped us last year with some class when we were pretty battered and bludgeoned. So I'm waiting to see this Man U with this approach today, and I looked at the starting lineup
Uh-huh.
and it didn't really make sense to me. because
Yes,
you
Kosi,
got
I will
2 new
defend them
signings.
today.
Yeah, the defense.
Today, I will defend them today
Yeah.
because they are coming back from preseason. Some of the players, like Sheshko, didn't even play any preseason game. So this was his first game back.
Okay.
Cunha came back 2 weeks ago. So he's still coming in. Rashford, Menu. So I will give them grace for today.
Okay.
Right? But
Because I saw the 2 new signings starting at the same time in
at
the
the
midfield.
same time,
That's
right?
that was my thing. Like,
Same here.
where's the foundation?
Yes.
But again, some guys are just coming back.
I will give them grace because most of the players came back last week. That is why I am not overreacting today.
All right.
You know
So with that being said, Joe, do you think that Santo, when you guys get Santo from Chelsea, I thought he was going to come off the bench and replace, Manu when y'all need him or whatnot. But is he really going to be a starter for you guys moving forward?
No, I think how Carrick wants to play is he wants to press up above the halfway line. And Santos gives us the defensive structure. But I think if they finally sign Belieber, he's going to provide us with that engine that we need in the middle. Last year, people were so sold out on Kobe Manu and what he did. But I think that he also lacks some defensive positioning in the middle, and he needs the athleticism, somebody that is very athletic to play with him. So I would say Santos might be the starting number 6 for the team because we don't have anybody that can win back possession. But if they get Belieber, then we will see if he can do what he did at Brighton, not last year, but 2 seasons ago. Yeah, because that has been the cry for Man United fans over the last 6-7 years is, can you get this team a defensive midfielder?
Yeah.
For some reason, I don't know how and why they never get a defensive midfielder for the team. They brought in Casemiro. He had 2 out of his 4 seasons. That was good, but
solid, yeah.
he was older. Before then, we experimented with a lot of defensive midfielders that didn't work out. They either very defensive and they cannot progress the ball forward, or they are more offensive and they don't have the defensive positioning. Like you look at Paul Pogba, when we brought him back to be the deep line midfielder, but because he didn't have that defensive instinct, we had to push him up to the number 8 position, right? So we really haven't had a defensive midfielder that will show the Man United defense. And if you don't have that, if you look at all the good teams in the EPL, Man City, when they were winning, they had a good defensive midfielder. Arsenal last year, right? So Liverpool, they had a really good defensive midfielders. And for some reason, we haven't been able to get our hands on a good defensive midfielder.
Chelsea.
So to answer your question,
Come on now.
who?
Chelsea. We was winning. We got Conte.
Yes, and there you got Kante,
There you go.
and I mean, it hasn't been, for some reason. I am not a professional soccer analyst, but then I know that this is what every team needs. So I don't see why Man United board and the people making decisions don't see that. I am asking myself why the board and the technical teams don't see that. And we've gone like 6 seasons without having a proper defensive midfielder, which you can literally walk in. A team like Man United should be able to walk into Newcastle and take their defensive midfielder. It doesn't have to be difficult. But here we are. We are operating on a budget. I'll put it that way. This year we are operating on a budget. So
Rashford could have helped with that. What happened? And why can't Rashford get the start today?
Well, he did show up late. He did show up.
He showed back up
late.
Musa, I think so. This is my view on the whole Rashford thing. I think some coaches start the season trying to coach themselves out of a job, and some start the season trying to keep their job.
Gotcha.
And the situation with players like Sancho, players like Rashford, it's kind of frustrating if you follow their career and you ask yourself the question, what do they actually want? What does Rashford really want? And that is a question that he has to answer for himself. Man United fans cannot answer that for him. The coaches cannot answer that for him. Nobody can. Because he went to Aston Villa. They didn't sign him. He went to Barcelona. I thought he had a good season last year. He was supposed to stay in Barcelona for less than 35 million pounds. But Barcelona opted and signed an 80 million player. So the question becomes, is it everybody around him that doesn't like Rashford, or he has to take a look at himself in the mirror and see, does he have other behaviors outside the game that is making these teams not want to keep him on their team? Man United, we will take you every day. Any day. You come back, we will take you. But if Barcelona cannot come up with 35 million to sign you, if Aston Villa cannot keep you, then the main question is, it's no longer the team. Sancho has been traveling all over the place, and he's not getting a team
last year.
Yeah.
Like,
crazy. How does that really feel? Like when you think about Rashford and then Anthony Gordon getting $80 million signed over Rashford. Damn.
35, and Rashford was only 35.
But listen up. When they both were in the English team, they had an option. Both of them were vying for the left wing position, but Anthony Gordon was picked every time to play. So it is no longer about the coaches. That's why I said he has to take a look at himself in the mirror. What is happening? What has happened to me after I signed the big contract? What happened then? Because Rashford that we knew 5 years ago, everybody loved him. So what changed? What changed within the last 3 seasons that you are no longer in love with the game, but you go into the bank every week to get the money?
No, there's a lot of different ways we could look at this. So, you know, through everything that's going on outside the field, like you say, he's standing for the good thing he's doing off the field. We're not going to say he's been blackballed because we don't know much information for me to say that or concrete say that. But I do find it a little bit weird that how you won a La Liga last year and you play a major role, as you mentioned. You had a great season with Barcelona and nobody wants you.
That is the point.
That's kind of a little bit like, what's going on?
When we are signing Rodgers for 120 million, when we are signing Anthony Gordon for 80 million, no English player is going for less than 50 million. And Barcelona could have got you for 35.
35.
And they still opted not to do that. So what actually is happening? What happened when you were off the field? What happened? What was your attitude outside the field? Was it something that they didn't like? Because we all saw him perform on the field for 35 million Rashford. So I don't get it. I don't know what is going on. He's back with Man United. We will take him and hopefully he can perform like he did 3-4 seasons ago. That is a big hope. But right now, we don't know. He's actually he can take over the left side of our team, the left wing position. But I think there's more to him than just playing on the field.
Yeah. Kosi, what position does Manchester United need to strengthen the most? Like, what position you think they need? I know George talked about a defensive midfield position where every successful team had to have great defensive midfielder.
Heck, does this dude still start for Manchester United? That's all I want to know. I mean, you could start Dorgu. You could easily start Dorgu there. I don't know. Hey, I mean, you're
How
playing
though, man? How did Luke Shaw should be the starter?
Is Luke Shaw Polish? I don't know. He didn't even. Man, he was a team that should have the starting left back for England. Should be the starting left back for Man U. That's how I see it. That's just how I see it. Man U is the biggest club in England, history-wise, right?
Yeah.
Man U should have the staple left back or right back that plays for the national team in this team has a left back. That used to be Luke Shaw at one point. Now time has passed a little bit. I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. He's probably still putting in the shift and training. He's still there every day. Man, even I'm saying this bad now. I'm an Arsenal fan, but I'm saying like, okay, did you see how you guys beat us last year? I don't even remember. Luke Shaw might have been on the field. I don't know, but I know what
Yeah,
beat us.
he was on the field.
I know
I
what beat
think
us, the pace and the prowess and that's what that's what we're looking for as football fans. So this Luke Shaw,
I'm still trying to get this. Like you said, man, Manchester United,
uh-huh.
Luke Shaw, for over how many years now?
He's been with the club, I think, going to 11, 12 years now.
Yeah, we've been there a
Yeah,
good
he's been there
while.
a while.
Name any conversation you ever heard in the world or anywhere where people actually mention Luke Shaw as one of the top left backs in the world.
I think
He had a little time where
last year he played all 38 games and
terrible.
he was decent for a Man United team. Let me put it that way. But he wasn't the best. He wasn't the top 5 left back in the league. So I was hoping that they get a new left back this year, or at least get a young left back and let him compete for the position. And I think this is the reality for all Man United fans, including me. I think that the club lost its mojo like a long time ago. So the attraction for players is not there anymore. So we have to dig deep to go get a player. It's either we have to overpay for a player, or the player might be like a young Man United fan that just want to realize their dream by coming to Man United to play. So we can no longer attract the best of the best players in the leagues, which is a problem. That is why whenever we go closer to a player, they try to jack up the prices, because Man United is no longer the pool when it comes to trying to attract the best players in the league. So getting a left back, we probably have to get a second tier left back. We probably wouldn't be able to get a top tier left back. So we have to accept that reality of not being able to attract or pull like we used to be, which is concerning given the team that we literally got outspent by Coventry. It is sad. Like we are happy we got Tillman for what? Less than 50 million. We got Santos for 50 million. And now Beliba is coming around 70 million thereabout. We are happy with that. But at these 3 players, if you take them and compare them to the Arsenal midfield or Man City midfield or Chelsea midfielders or Liverpool midfield, where would you rank them? Are they going to be in the top 5? Are they going to be in the top 6? Or outside the top 10? And that is the reality for Man United fans.
You remember 1994 when 442 magazine come out?
Mm-hmm. Hey, it's okay. We sat on people's happiness for a long time, so it's all right.
Basically, it's a 442 magazine, right? Okay. Not a lot of people even know about it. But back then, guys like us used to can't wait to steal 442 magazine from my uncles or somebody so we could start looking to see what's going on. And all we see is about Manchester United. Premier League section, United. Of course, Arsenal is in there. But now we talking about it. You heard it from you as a Manchester United fan. Manchester United is not an attractive destination for a lot of players unless if they had fulfilled the long
lifelong
overdue
dream.
dreams.
Yeah.
It is, for me, it's so backward when you look at it, Real Madrid. Because when you talk about Madrid, the only club you could think about that can compete with Madrid when it comes to the powerhouse of how huge it is Manchester United. But still, players want to go play for Madrid.
Yes.
Several years ago, Cristiano Ronaldo spoke about the Manchester United, the whole facility, what's going on there. Everybody was calling him out. They call him these names, all that kind of crazy stuff like that, especially ex-United players. You wasn't supposed to say that. And hearing it from you, we know Cristiano Ronaldo wasn't wrong because I don't think he would make something like that up because we know how much he loved United. And for me, I'm just surprised because as a kid, I used to hate Manchester United because all I heard about is United. I hated United so much I became a Chelsea fan.
Look at you. Yeah.
Yo, I'm telling you, man, they were too hot, man.
But
You
then at
couldn't
the same time, you gotta respect them because they always delivered on the field. They always got this.
Yes,
They always show you this,
they had Beckham.
passion. They always show you this the Roy King attitude. I'm not the greatest skillful player in the world, but I'm coming here to die for this badge.
They
Kind of,
they had it. Yeah.
Yeah. So now when we heard of Manchester United, man, all I could think about is like, damn. It's like when I used to be into 442 magazine. I'm no longer interested in that shit because I could look it up on Google or look it up somewhere else.
Yeah.
Hey,
The problem is that we had some expectation that the Man United itself didn't have for itself, right? Everybody, even in this transfer market, if you are getting outspent by teams that came from the championship, that is a problem.
yes.
So you are telling me that we couldn't compete with anybody to sign our. You want to tell me Andros Santos was Man United target? He was the fourth best midfielder at Chelsea. You want to tell me that Belieber was our target? Come on, that is the difference between the Barcelona, Real Madrid, and the now Man United. Because we all know Barcelona has been going through financial problems. Basically, they have been going through it. But when Rodri wanted to leave Man City, how long did it take Barcelona for them to sign him? Probably less than 3 days. They signed him. When they wanted Gordon, how long did it take them to sign him?
Very fast.
We have been talking about Belieber for like a week, and still they haven't been able to sign him.
There's so many links to match players going to United, but still haven't happened. I get what you're saying.
It is like every time there are 25, and the players that come to Man United, look at Zlatan, look at Cavani, they were past their prime for them to even choose United to come play for United. Look at Falcao. He came to it has got to the point where they have to, the board and the executives need to take a step back and ask themselves, okay, what made United attractive in early 2000s that is not happening now? It cannot be Ferguson. It had to be something there that attracted these players to want to come to United. But right now, if you are the best player in the world, why would you want to come to United if you can go to Barcelona, if you can go to Chelsea, you can go to Arsenal, or you can go to Real Madrid or PSG? Why would you want to come to Man United?
Especially as a foreign player, because we gotta say this, man. Ex-Manchester United players, I feel like they own the right to Manchester United media, and sometimes the way they criticize some of these foreign players, bro, man, is one. Sometimes it's reason why players don't want to come play there.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't expect every player to show up at United being Roy Keane. Roy Keane, you were born, this is home for you. You know what I'm saying?
Born and bled.
We get that.
Raised.
So
can I also defend them?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm trying to gauge a player and use him as an example.
Paul Pogba.
Let's take Paul Pogba for example. Right? He came to Man United from Juventus. And do you think that he reached his potential at Man United? That is the question. Did we really get the best of Pogba at Man United?
But how can you get the best out of the player if you don't surround him around people that could bring the best out of him?
When he was at Juventus, there were things that he was doing on the field. You can look at it from the standpoint of the ex-Man United players criticizing these players too much in the media, and that is taking away from what they were supposed to do, or that is taken away from their confidence and all that. But if you are a player, you are a professional player, how is somebody's opinion of your game going to affect what you have to do on the field, right?
All right,
So,
I get what you're saying, but you also listen to what Papa said. Manchester United never really he never really played a position where he was good at or great at playing because the foxes he was running around with. They expect Paul Pogba to be a defensive midfielder, and because Bruno is there, and you know Pogba is a box-to-box player. Yes, he doesn't have the speed, but we know Pogba is capable of creating and scoring goals, as we've seen it in the French roster compared to when you played with Manchester United. He won the World Cup playing for Manchester United, if I'm not mistaken, right?
yeah.
And then what he has there? He had Conte beside him. He had great players in the front, like the young Piper, where he could assist, or you could just lay the ball out there. So he had a structure around him with France. In Manchester United, there were lack of structure for Pogba to show how great he could be. Ian Rice said something, I think, a couple of days ago about Militeri. Hopefully, I'm not pronouncing his name wrong. Of course, Militeri. Yeah. So he says that he deserves more respect, although he's not play. He was not even the starter lineup for
Not even in the squad.
not even the squad. You know what I'm saying? But that's an ex player coming up to say, "Hey, we got to put some respect what this man has done."
Yeah.
The reason why I say that is like everything has to be the way they used to do it. If it's not that way, it's not good enough.
It's a heavy jersey over there.
So you could maybe that's also the reason why players has not. I'm not different for Pogba haircut, doing all that. Though that's his personality, whatever. But also, Manchester United did not create the environment around him for him to be the best as he can be.
That is true. I am agreeing with you. I think that when you bring certain players, you need to give them the keys and build around them.
Exactly.
Right? And we didn't do that. Man United went into the panic mode in 2013. So they started buying players and thinking that the more expensive players or the flashy players are what is going to be used to build the team. And I think, for me, I think when Solskjaer was his second season, he got the team back on track to where he wanted to take the team forward. But then Ronaldo became available and we had to bring Ronaldo back. As a big Ronaldo fan, I think that was when Man United took 3 steps back instead of going forward.
Yeah.
Right? Because we wanted the name to get the team going. But that was a bad move on our behalf because he had a team where they were moving forward. And all we needed to do was to keep moving where we wanted to go and leave Ronaldo out. But we brought Ronaldo back into the team, and that actually created a lot of mess for the team, and Solskjaer was fired. We haven't to me, I think the old players, you cannot tell them not to give their opinion about the team. It's like, I have done this over and over and over. We've won it over and over and over, and now we cannot even get closer to it. So what is happening? So they are looking at the players that are there, and they are comparing them to what they were doing in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. That is what they are doing. They are making the comparison and saying that, okay, we did it when we didn't even get paid much. So what is the problem now? When you are making $250,000 a week, when you are making $350,000 a week, why can't you get a team over the top? And even though they criticize and sometimes they overstep, I think the game this morning actually justified why they do that. Because if you are a Man United player, you were supposed to fight for the badge, right? And watching the game this morning, do you think there was a single player on that team that showed you they belong to be a Man United player?
No.
No. So now, if these guys are talking because they have done it, you have scores that have won the Premier League over and over. You have Gary Neville that won it. You have Kane that won. So basically, they have done it with less. How much more you having everything and getting paid millions or let's say thousands every week to play? So why can't you get it done?
Do you know why I'm so talking to the English media thing so bad?
Uh-huh.
Remember during the World Cup how you was talking about the English media, how much you dislike
Yes.
them? And
Yeah.
Manchester United ex-players are one of those. Most of them
Yes, they are.
are there. English media who
That is true.
they're just there. Don't get me wrong, man. What Gary Neville is doing, especially what Rio is doing, I watch Rio. He's one of my favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
Defenders, I love what he's doing, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy for him. And Gary Neville, man, what he's doing, man. For me, he's I don't even know how to describe what this gentleman are doing
They
this
say it
platform,
like
man.
it is. And
Yeah.
you can look at even Gallagher. You might hate him, but everything that he says is right on point.
I agree.
Right? He is controversial.
And why is that?
That is the English media. So if you cannot deal with the English media, and look at it this way, Arsenal was the champion last year, right? But who do we talk about?
It's Man U.
Man U.
It's England's team, I'll tell you.
So Man United you draw revenue if you talk about them. And that is what is happening. You cannot tell them because you are the ex-player of this team, you have to talk great about these players. No, we have to be realistic about the players and what they are doing and compare it. Whether we like it or yes, we are going to compare. And if you don't like that as a player, then there is a problem. Then get off social media.
Right. When do we put the players aside and start talking about the club itself? Honestly, though, when I was watching that, I was surprised Santos start. I was surprised that Tielemans, yes, he did well in the World Cup, but I don't think he's like the savior of Manchester United.
Oh, no,
like
he's
with
old
Barcelona,
too.
but he's a decent player. He's all right. But with this game, Manchester United players, I really wrote this down, man. They show no personality at all.
That is
it
true.
deserved to be on the field, right?
That is
And
true.
there was no intent at all that we playing away, and this is one, and we see what happened last season, and how we got this run to get Michael Carrick his job. Let's just fight. We didn't say it today. I get that they could criticize that all they want, but what does that tell you about Manchester United itself as a club?
Everybody's waiting around for the Man U identity of football to be played. Still waiting for it.
Still waiting.
So I think that is the point. From George said since like 2013, we waiting for that identity to, that's the Man U way, the winning way, where you don't got to question if they're going to be out there fighting for the badge. You don't got to question if you're going to hear the Theater of Dreams singing the whole 90 minutes because the team is just thrashing you. That is what the Premier League fans and football fans are waiting to see. And every time the Premier League swings around now, that's the question you have now. How can it be answered? When you put the players out there, how can they answer to all the pressure, all the pundits? It's by playing an identity of football that you cannot deny. Trust me, Arsenal has went through the worst times. Our defense, we had Carl Jenkinson, we had this, but over time, it took time to really remake it. Man U was a team that they really never fell off. So to see them like this, how do they return to get to that identity? And it starts at the top. For me, it starts at the top, man. Ronaldo said that the club, everything is old, and I couldn't believe that, bro. I did never believe meant. I always wondered how their facilities were. I never believed Man U was like that. Never.
That is true. I think that the other thing that affected this is my opinion of what affected Man United is that we are living in the shadow of the Alex Ferguson team.
Yes.
And that Alex Ferguson team had its own way of playing soccer. I remember there was a game against Arsenal, and it basically you playing Arsenal was their rival in the early 2000s, and we were playing with Fletcher, we were playing with Fabio, we were playing with O'Shea, we were playing Brown in the middle, and they still beat Arsenal because they had a coach that was a motivator to them.
Yes.
So you go to war and you go to war for him. You don't go in the game unless you are willing to die on the field. Fast forward 2013, he retired. We brought in David Moyes. That is when everything about Man United unraveled.
Yeah.
Was it the players that were really good, or they had a coach that was a motivator that was motivating these guys to die for the team? Remember, he won the league. That was the last time Man United won the league. And since then, we brought in Louis van Gaal. We brought in multiple coaches, and every single coach that comes in has a different style of play.
Yeah.
So I come in, and then I go in, I say, okay, I want to play this way. And I bring in my players that want to play this way. 2 seasons, he's fired. The next coach comes in. I want to play this way. Now, the players that are there doesn't fit into the style of play that I want to play. So what happens? I don't get the results. I am fired. The next coach comes in. Okay, I buy these players. I have to play this way, but the one that we have doesn't fit my system. So what do we have to do? We have to buy more. 2 seasons, I am fired. So it has got to a point that Man United had all the expensive players that you can think of, but they don't fit the style of the coach.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I get a little bit ticked off of the media of the ex-Manchester United players, because you guys had identity through your head coach.
They had stability.
That is true. They had stability.
Exactly. So if you had stability to the coach, because they had the stability there, and how you expect to come here just because you guys want to sign an $89 million player, and you guys expect things to fall in, like he's single-handed gonna carry you guys to the glory days when there's no stability.
Remember, with that stability came the fighting spirit. Yep. So to them, to wear the Man United badge, you have to have the fighting spirit to fight. That is, I agree with you. I don't like the fact that they are criticizing the players every chance that they get. But what they have known Man United for is the moment you put on the red jersey, the white jersey, and you have the Man United crest, you are going to die on the field. That is what they knew.
Why is that?
Because they had the motivator as the coach, that they go on the field and they were willing to die for him. So now they don't understand how these players are not willing to die for the badge. So that has been I think that is where the struggle is coming in with them. It's like, okay, why are you passive wearing a Man United jersey? Like you are wearing a Man United jersey with the Man United crest on your chest, and you are passive in games. I think that is where the misunderstanding is with them and the current team. Like when they were playing, every game was a war for them. Now, every game is an entertainment for the players, right? So they are also struggling to understand that it wasn't like this when we were playing, even though we didn't sometimes have the best of the best players on the field. We still went on the field to fight. So what is happening now? Why are you guys not fighting for the badge? So you can look at it on both sides. Yes, they over-criticize, but you also have to understand why they are always criticizing the players.
Agree. And we all know, if you think about the Premier League, you gotta mention Manchester United because they are the trailblazers for these.
I know. Kosi is still talking about us, even though we didn't win.
So with that being said, man, we're gonna move on to another London club. You know,
I am so excited about this Tottenham team.
This Tottenham team, man, you know, Tottenham have some explanation to do, my brothers, man. Brentford didn't just beat Spurs. They exposed them. Their defense was questionable. And everything about what we see about how they're spending the money. Tottenham lost to Brentford 3-0.
Look better than their jerseys.
Bro, I think they have the nicest jersey now in the EPL. The jersey that they wore today, I need to get one. But I will get one and just remove the crest from Tottenham over there. So,
bro, man.
Kudus is... So, I watched the whole game today with Tottenham, and I had some questions that I think that all of a sudden they are the richest club in England with all
Yeah,
these
something
players they
like
are
that.
signing.
Yeah.
So their budget is like 500 million right now. They are signing all these players, and mind you, they still have all these players that are coming back from injury.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So it's going to be Chelsea 2.0. Because Chelsea run shifts at their practices now. They have like 45 players, so they run shift. You go here, you go here. If you don't perform well, we send you to U21. Sometimes some of the players do overnight. They have to practice to be able to stay
They do
fit.
overnight shift, practice on
Yes,
the night
that's
itself.
Chelsea. You guys run shift with your practice sessions. But
Bruh.
Tottenham is still signing players though.
Mm-hmm.
They are still signing. And you watch
Sabinho
this.
Marmoush supposed to go.
Yeah, and you watch the game today, and there was no connection between their players. Like there was zero chemistry,
Zero.
nothing at all. But
And George, my question again, midfield. You signed one of the hottest midfielders from the last place, and Matias Fernandez, a hot commodity that a lot of teams wanted, and then he's on the bench today. And he didn't play in the summer. He played he scored a world-class goal in training camp. I'm saying this guy has to be working with Tonali and the Gallagher and these guys to make this team what they're saying this team is. And you come out and you start like that versus Brentford. Brentford is not no pushover. Brentford have an identity. They play for their badge. We know Brentford when Brentford last 2-3 years, they're not a pushover team. So, and this is how you go out. And Brentford played them from 1 minute to 90. Full class.
yeah. So you look at their starting 11 today. Musa, it will surprise you like over 60% of their starting 11 were new players.
Rough.
So
Rough.
it's I am like, so what happens if all your injured players come back?
Yeah.
Like what I know at some point they are going to figure it out. I think at some point they're going to get their players to just start working together. But you cannot start the first game of the season rolling up about 60 to 70% of your starting 11 being new players.
We got a brand new toy. I gotta show the world we got a brand new toy. We got a brand new toy, so we gotta put Conor Gallagher to play number 10 role. A guy that now he's a Chelsea boy. Chelsea fans with this ex-player, they get mad at me when I talk about Conor Gallagher. Does he work hard? Correct, he work hard. The problem is he worked too goddamn hard enough to not to know his position.
Overdoing it.
He's playing. I am not always saying I dislike Conor Gallagher when he was at Chelsea because he's from the economy. I like the kid. But man, I'm not glad Chelsea got rid of this guy. He played positions. You could put him anywhere, right? He doesn't care. But the problem is that if you put him out, you're gonna find him as playing somewhere up there as a striker. He just everywhere, bro. And to see that Tottenham today to say, you know what? Out of all these signings, let's play Conor Gallagher as number 10. What are you gonna get out of Conor Gallagher playing number 10?
That is the point.
You're still gonna find him in the box trying to defend.
Yes. And then you have they started with they had Tonali in the middle. And from what I was watching, it looked like he was playing the 8, he was playing the 6, and they have this kid called Bergvall who was in the middle. And I was like, okay, I am not sure. I wasn't sure what they were trying to do in the middle.
That's the right way to put it. I don't want to accuse Conor Gallagher of being a number 10 because I wasn't sure neither.
Yes.
So why not start? So why not put Gallagher and Tonali next to each other and put Fernandez there and play? But we're not in training every day, so we don't know.
That was the problem with Man United is that we started with 2 new players in the middle. And if you watch the Arsenal game, what did they do? They kept their middle intact with players that they had from last season. So if you it's the teams are going to figure it out. I am sure these teams are going to figure it out. Tottenham is going to figure it out. Man United is going to figure it out. Chelsea is going to go through some growing pain. They will figure it out. Man City is going to figure it out. That's the reason why I said earlier that if Arsenal doesn't run away with the league, then the conversation will not be good on their half, because these teams are trying to figure out on the run, right?
Experience.
And given that some of these players are also coming back from the World Cup, they didn't have a good preseason. So some teams are going to use the first 5 games to figure their team out, or to figure out who and who can play well together. And with watching Tottenham today, it was like individual players trying to make it happen some way, somehow. And Brentford, they look far. It looked like they were the top 16, and
Yes.
Tottenham was just coming
Yeah.
in from promotion.
That's like watching the Arsenal versus Coventry game at the end of the day, man. Different faces, same old Spurs, bro. Yeah, I'm not surprised with this, man. No matter how good Tottenham become, I thought this year was gonna be a little different. Yes, it's just
and they are
match day
missing
one.
key players.
Yeah, so it's match day one. He's crucified them for the performance because they brought, like you said, 60+% is all new players. Get you guys quick reaction to these other games that happen in the Premier League, man. I do like this team. I like the way this team play. They got a good attitude because they keep the tempo. Leeds United beat Nottingham Forest. They got the job done. And it's not every game is going to be pretty, but sometimes you just got to figure a way to win it.
I think that Nottingham Forest will always be in the mix because of how they play, right? Leeds United needs to get they need to get the wins that they need at the beginning of the season when everybody is trying to figure it out, because they have when after the first 5 games, the top teams figure it out. They know what they are doing, and if they lose, it means that they are not they didn't have a good day that day. But if you look at teams like Tottenham, Coventry, Ipswich, they need to, the first 5 games is where they need to get some wins, because you are not going to beat Arsenal in the middle of the season. You're not going to beat Man City in the middle of the season. You're not beating Chelsea in the middle of the season. You're not beating Man United like easily in the middle of the season, because they figured it out, right? So, but one thing that Nottingham Forest have is that they can rely on their height, and they know how to play ugly and win. So they can pull some wins here and there. Leeds United is used to, let's keep the ball and play the beautiful game. And that doesn't really work well for those teams. That is why they always find themselves at the bottom of the table. So I think if I have to pick one that will survive, I will go with Nottingham Forest, because they have the ugly side that they can play and still win games, as compared to Leeds United. Leeds United needs everything to work for them to win games. Whereas Nottingham Forest is just, they can go scrappy and just find a way to win. So I'll pick Nottingham Forest to finish above Leeds.
Kosi, different one for you, man. Everton and Crystal Palace. Everton won
Great game.
2-0, man. What's going on, Crystal Palace? Once upon a time, I thought it was going to be
Missed
the next guy.
chances. Missed chances. Mateta, my boy, ex-Arsenal, Nketiah, post. Jordan Pickford saved a great goal, but the goal for Everton was a beauty, and Everton didn't let up on them. You know, they came to play a scrappy game. Crystal Palace, again, they got their chances, but Everton came and played a game that they're here to remind people that they can be a thorn in people's side. If they overlook this team, they come to play hard. You know, Barry on the score mark too. So, you know, our boy Senegalese international Ndiaye played very well.
Yeah.
Played very well today, you know. And who was it? Dewsbury that scored the other goal. Yeah, beautiful goal. So, you know, they have their style still that they're playing, and these are probably a couple players that would have probably thought, like, I believe India, I thought he would have been purchased by somebody other in the league, you know, as I saw his name being circulated, but he played well today. Crystal Palace, they didn't take their chances, man, and they suffered. Great game, Everton today.
And one thing, just to add to what Kosi said, is you see how David Moyes is bringing his foot. He is Everton.
Yes.
And that is why I keep telling people is there are tiers to coaching in the world football. The David Moyes kind of coaching, they will keep you in the middle of the park, in the middle.
Mhm.
And if you make a mistake and say, hey, this guy is good at Everton, so you want to bring him to a top tier team, they are not going to command the same level of respect as they are getting at Everton. That's why, so since last year, getting to the end of the season and coming into this year, I think he's going to keep Everton in the Europa spot from
Mhm.
fifth all the way to like 10. He's
10th,
going to
yeah,
keep
5th, 8th,
Everton there
10th,
because
yeah,
he
yeah, yeah.
has come back to Everton and he's trying to replicate what he did before he left Everton in 2013 to come and
Mhm.
join Man United. So I think Everton is going to be difficult to play against this year.
Sunderland losing to
Ipswich.
Ipswich Town 2-1. I was a little surprised, but this is a good win for Ipswich Town because you have to win early, like you mentioned about Leeds United.
Mhm.
If it is any team that's going to get bounce back, it's going to be teams like that. So early win, it give you better stability to move forward into the season, but they ain't going to last. But are you
Jack,
guys surprised with Sunderland losing the first game?
I wasn't surprised they did. Last season I thought it was one of the everything went their way last season. So I don't think they are going to be in the top half of the table this year. I could be wrong though, but I think the score today reflected how they were playing today. Ipswich came in to play, and even when the game was tied, they were still pushing forward to get the winner. I don't foresee Sunderland finishing in the top half of the table. The same way I don't foresee Ipswich finishing at the top half of the table.
mhm. All right, season to stay up last year. So this year is going to be tougher. And when you get a team like Sunderland versus a newly promoted team, they probably remember them and playing them, and they're a little extra motivated from just coming up to the Prem. If they don't come out and put them away, these newly promoted teams are gonna play you to the end if you don't put them away early. That's what they came and got a late winner. So I think Ipswich, they can maybe stay up. I don't know. It depends on who they're playing to see how they really what their level really is as we advance into the league. So I mean, we'll see, but I think Sunderland will be kicking themselves now winning today.
Yeah, those are the wins that Sunderland have to get.
That was a nice goal by Angulo, though. That was a beautiful
Yeah.
free kick, but you can't give up
Well,
that. At least tie it.
At least get a point
At
out of
least
that.
get the draw.
so you guys got to take a guess. Villa versus Brighton. Who you guys got winning it?
Do Aston Villa still have players?
I'm taking Brighton.
I thought they signed they sold everybody.
Yeah.
First game of the season, Brighton might be ideal because
Ali Watkins.
Aston Villa has lost a lot.
Ali
Aston
City
Watkins.
Villa
versus
lost a
Bournemouth.
lot. Bournemouth. I'm going for a City first
I'm
loss.
going for Bournemouth too. And
Yeah.
I think Ali Watkins, not to just go back to that game, might be on the way out, as I heard he wants to join Al Hilal.
Yeah.
So if he,
Newcastle.
I will go for a tie on that game.
I might take Liverpool.
Coach.
Damn, this Premier League is gonna be. It's like the only, like you mentioned, George. The only team that actually got the stability, you could say, is Arsenal.
It's Arsenal. It's the top 6 teams. If I go Man United, Chelsea, Man City, Tottenham, maybe let me sneak in Liverpool. All
Yeah.
5 doesn't have any continuity in their team. Arsenal is the only one that has the coach that has been there longer.
Yeah.
And their team, they didn't really. Who did Arsenal lose in their first 11? That wasn't there last year. So apart from Trossard that left, so the game that they started on Friday, they started with players that played with them last year. The only guy, Solis, that came in on the left side. So they had 10 players from last year that were with the team. Every other team is going to start at least 2
Building.
players that are new, that are coming in. So they have the stability and the continuity. So it is their title to lose this year.
Pressure is on Arsenal.
Mm-hmm.
Chelsea Football
Jesus.
Club against Fulham, about a couple miles down the
Ooh,
street. We're
not an
going to play
easy
away.
game. Not an easy game, Moose.
I mean
Why?
that
What you
game
got?
you
What you think?
don't.
What you
I said this to a lot of people even today. I said this to someone that Fulham is a team that I don't like to play because every team had that one team that you match up against, no matter how much talent that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Like today when you watch Madrid game, I feel like there's just that one team that match with you. I think Fulham and Chelsea, this game could go either way. Anything could happen. That's what I'm trying to say because we play against Fulham, and he's always like this. He's never really. Chelsea's a superior team. Yes, we might win most of the games, but it's never easy game. So I think Chelsea's gonna better show up. It's gonna be a good one, and I'm expecting to be a little bit of attitude. So Chelsea need to just come out and play, and players need to get ready to show up for Zabi's first Premier League game, and see where we go from there. I'm not gonna jinx myself because I know who we playing the games.
Okay, let me jinx it for you. Because given we lost today, Chelsea cannot win on Monday. That is not that doesn't that would that
I got the Blues winning their first game.
I'm not
Man.
starting the week with a loss and Chelsea win on Monday. I'm not doing that. But I think it will be a test. I like a lot of what Chelsea is trying to do, but there is also a lot that you take a step back and you go, okay, there's going to be a new system. I heard Jackson is going to play the number 10 role.
Well, he's gonna come off the bench. So for me,
I'm just saying that I heard that they're giving him a new role, either playing, and then they. So who are you? What formation are you guys playing tomorrow? Oh no, Monday.
That's to be that for me. That 3-4-3 might work. This might sound a little weird saying this right now.
Mm-hmm.
As great as Cole Palmer has been, now is about what Brodo Cole Palmer wants to like. What kind of player does he wants to be under Zavi new system, right? Because if you're gonna be a creative player, I think Chelsea got a better chance. Right? Let's say you got a 10 plus assists like the way Bruno did last season for Manchester United. Then Chelsea could find themselves in top 4 with no problem. But if Cole Palmer is a goal hunt, if he's just goal hungry, then we got another thing to talk about. Because we still got a Morgan Roger. We got a Joao Pedro, I think he's gonna score 20 plus goals this season. And however Cole Palmer decides to show up, because I know he has not been that great. That's why I don't understand why people confused that he didn't make it to the World Cup. I don't think he should have been in the World Cup roster. There's no way, man. He wasn't the top player last season. He was not in top form. So it all depends on how he decides to use Cole Palmer or what Cole Palmer. If Cole Palmer want to be true with himself, that hey, I could also do other things in the field instead of just scoring goals, because he's the type of player that could pick a pass. And you mentioned about Jackson playing the number 10 role. Jackson is a guy that knows how to turn with the ball. Now, when he get in front of the goal, it's a different story. But the kid could play. He got the strength. He knows how to turn. He knows how to pass the ball. He got the speed. He typical African player. He knows how to carry the ball. But I just want to see it first before I could jump into guns right now with Chelsea. What type of formation? There's a lot to this when it comes down to Premier League. There's a 38 physical game. It's going to be a long season, and I'm excited for it because we got a new manager, and manager that actually knows what football is. And to see the role that he has as a manager, not just a head coach. So he's not a puppet. He comes here, the players that he brought in as the players that he want. We actually got leaders now. We don't got just a bunch of 19 years old running around, decide to pick up red card because today's a bad day for them. That'll be a good one.
Did you say you got leaders on your team?
We do, man.
I'm just confirming with you
Yeah,
guys.
we do.
I mean, you have some 35, 36-year-old players on your team. You got
So that's why I'm so intrigued about what kind of formation that Xavi's going to use throughout the season. Because this is going to be tough if he's trying to go to the 3-4-3 formation that he was using during the preseason.
I think the reason why the 3-4-3 formation is difficult in the EPL is because of the grounds that they have to cover. right? Each player has to cover a lot of grounds. And if I'm looking at Cole Palmer and Morgan Rogers, given what they did last year, are you going to have Cole Palmer track back and cover all the spaces that you need? The other thing that I am also worried about is you have Reece James. Is he going to be a wing back player? If he's a wing back, is he going to be fit enough to cover that much ground? So it's going to be, that's why I said earlier, it's going to be growing pains. And I hope that the Chelsea board and the owners doesn't get frustrated if it is not working right away. Because it's going to be the same as when we got Amorim coming in and the players that were there were not the players that fit his system. So now you have Pedro Neto in there, and he is an out and out winger. So where does he fit in now? You have Jackson, who is a striker. Where does he fit in now?
Well, the thing with Jackson, he's not just a striker. You could also play him off the wing. You could play him in the number 10. I feel like Jackson could play more. So,
But
because he's capable
He's
of doing it.
shown great
the
improvement.
difficulty in the 3-4-3 system is that when we lose the ball, it turns into 5-4-1 formation.
Right.
That means that when we have our wingers pinned to our half, the two number 10s needs to also play on the wings and help defend. So now you have Cole Palmer and you have Jackson on the other side. Are both of them going to be doing that work for you? That becomes a big question because I saw how Amorim wanted to play, and it became a major problem for the Man United team because we had traditional
Wide
wingers
open.
now that are being forced to play. Morgan Rogers played at number 10, but he played behind the striker. Now you are playing 2 10s that needs to play on each side of the striker. So that means they have to cover all this ground in tracking back when we do. One of the things that people don't realize is that the EPL is made up with is athletes. They just run and run and run and run. So if you don't have players that are physically strong to do the extra work, especially in the 3-4-3 system, you are going to get exposed on the wings. And these teams can take advantage of you at any point in time. So I hope that I hope that they have Cole Palmer changes the attitude and start helping in defense. I hope Jackson doesn't get frustrated.
So when you look at this 2017, the last team that used a 3-4-3 formation and won the Premier League was actually Chelsea Football Club, right? So we had Azad and Costa and Pedro. And then you got, of course, Marcus Lanzo playing the wing back role and Moses.
Victor Moses.
Victor Moses.
Victor Moses, yes.
Yep.
Victor Moses, Conte and Fabregas playing the 4. And then in the back, you got David Luiz, Aspinqueta.
Had Conte. So
we have Conte.
Hazard didn't have to do that much work.
To understand that his role, if we go to the 4-3-3 formation, what's Caicedo's role is going to be, right? However it happens, I know we're going to concede goals. That's something that I know we're going to do, right? But can we able to score more goals? That would be the question. It's going to come down to the willingness of the players and how and the starting lineup. Cole Palmer, I totally agree with you. Can Cole Palmer do it? That's why I mentioned Pedro Neto earlier. Pedro Neto, hopefully they sell him to Al Hilal for $100 million. This 3-4-3 formation, I don't think Pedro Neto could fit there because he's not a defender. He's a real winger.
That is true. And I think what made the 2017 work well is that they had Victor Moses playing over there. He brought speed on the right side, right? And he was able to support. And the fact that you had Kante on the right side, he covered a lot of ground for the other players. And he was a physical specimen. He didn't get any in. That was when he was coming. He came from the Leicester City team. But in this setting, you are going to put Reece James in the middle of the field. My only problem with Reece James is he going to be able to stay on the field longer? Right? If Cole Palmer is not tracking back, that means he has to do a lot of running to cover those spaces. Is he going to be able to do that? That becomes one. And does that also mean that you are going to expose the other side of the midfield if your either number 10 is not tracking back? So there's going to be a lot of growing pains in terms of the players adjusting. And mind you, in the EPL, when the 2017 team, when they played a 3-4-3, that was we didn't have any top team play that formation. So it was difficult for any team to figure it out. But now they all understand and they have figured it out and they know how to exploit that formation. So it will be an exciting game to watch to see how the Chelsea players respond to their individual role and if they are going to be able to win their individual battles.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that regardless of how you look at it, I think Chelsea needs a more leadership in their defense, especially if you're playing the 3-back. You need one or two leaders that understands how to lead from the back, which I haven't seen much of with this Chelsea team and your young players. Now you have about 45 players. I don't even know how.
It's
Just
all
looking at
11
it right
players
now.
in the field.
You have a lot of players. You see how you are going down, you look at Chelsea's squad, and you were scrolling all the way down to even find a player. I mean, come on.
It's the system. It's a loan system. It's an in, out. If
You never
don't
know.
get-
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys so much for watching
Yes.
Balance Sport TV. George, Cozy, appreciate you guys, man. Coz, please
Sports
subscribe.
TV. Like, share, subscribe.
Thank you guys so
Sports
much,
TV
man.
number
George, I
one.
appreciate you guys, my brothers, man. Thank you guys, man. See you
Thank
guys
you.
again tomorrow, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Peace.